Good evening and welcome to our live broadcast of the Shawnee Mission East versus Gardner Edgerton football game. We are brought here on the first snap of the play as he hands off to number 5, who gets a gain of 11 on the carry. That was Jace Sprague with a 11-yard pickup to gain a first down. If you're just joining us, Parker Willis just kicked a touchback, and the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers are setting up their first drive with a first down and 10 on the 32-yard line.
Thank you, Robbie. And I'm Mac Newman, joined with Robbie Vagel and Drake Woods. Just to introduce ourselves, we're glad you're joining us for this broadcast. And here we start with a Gardner Edgerton offensive drive.
The ball is pitched back as they try running it down the center. Only about 2 yards gained on that play. We're not seeing a whole lot as this game starts off, but as we were just talking about, Gardner Edgerton it is one of the harder teams that we may be going against this year. They're in an entirely different division, which I've heard from quite a few people is fairly difficult. So they're going to be quite the matchup for Shawnee Mission East Lancers tonight.
Yeah, Jake, this is a team that coming in, a lot of Lancers are very confident this will be a win. As the first round of the state championship begins, as right there you see a gain of 6 on second down. This first round of this bracket begins. The Lancers, who are ranked the second seed, are playing the Trailblazers, who are at an abysmal 0-8 this year, have not won a game. So a lot of Lancers came into this game thinking, oh, of course, we've been blowing out teams all year. No sweat. But this Trailblazer team is not an 0-8 team. Coach Delaney's been talking to his guys all week about how if this team played in the Sunflower League, they would be a 500 team, if not better. They play some of the toughest competition in the state as they have a huge third down here on first, and he is swallowed up. That's P.J. Spencer on the tackle. Great wrap-up to force a punt early in this game, but there looks like there may be a flag down late on the play. It was a very late flag by the ref. I'm not sure what the call is going to be here.
Yeah. And as you were saying, Harrison, the coach really has been talking to them all week about how difficult this team is going to be. I was just talking to Harrison Gooley just a couple days ago about how confident I was that East was going to win this game. And he was actually quite worried that they're up against this team. I believe the last game we had against them, we actually only won by 1 point. So,
and right there, that's just a careless penalty by the Lancers, bringing up after a huge third down stop, putting this Trailblazer team in dangerous scoring position on the Lancer side of the ball. You see number 9, Captain Zach Yo, just kind of calming down his guys, telling them it's early in the game, not to get too much in their heads, and stop this drive right here.
Here we're going to see a snap from quarterback Tevin McKelvey. Looks like he's got number 5, fakes the handoff, and there's a flag on the play.
and it looks as though that flag will be on the Trailblazers, moving them back about 10 yards. A very costly flag for them.
2 flags in a row, that one being called for a false start on Gardner. Now 1st and 15 for the Trailblazers. Have not seen a pass and play so far from Gardner, just running plays, usually to number 5, Jace Sprague.
And once again, the ball is handed off, but immediately stopped dead in its tracks, about a 1-yard gain on that last play.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot out of number 5, Jace Sprague. Number 17, quarterback for the Trailblazers, Tyler Gertzman, is only a sophomore and has come out to a little bit of a shaky start this year for the Trailblazers. So expect to see this team stick mostly to the ground tonight, which plays right into the Lancers' strong suit with their huge defensive line, with guys like P.J. Spencer and Ashton Anadino. They're all just big guys who, as the end around goes to number 5, I believe that is Jay Sprague again.
Breaks 3 tackles and finally gets hit. Big hit from behind from Andino, just like you were talking about, Robbie. A great defensive line from the Lancers. They're pumped up, and that was a great tackle from Andino. Sprague taking a while to get back up there.
He is still down. Seems like he's cradling that left leg. Hopefully this isn't anything serious for Sprague.
Trainers come out. Looks like it might be his left knee.
So, Mac, what do you think we can expect from this Lancer team coming forward in this game?
You know, I was just about to say a few weeks ago when the Lancers were playing Lawrence, the Lawrence Chesty Lions, they came out way too cocky and confident, which I was a little worried coming into this game that they were going to do, which cost them greatly against that Lawrence team. Although they did get the win, they let way too many points on the scoreboard from Lawrence. I'm sure Delaney learned from that, and he's telling his Lancers over and over again throughout this week not to come into this game cocky, as to not let this Gardner team get the first touchdown on the board. But we've seen some great defense so far from the Lancers, not letting any of Sprague's runs get through the middle, like we've seen happen a few times earlier in the season. But I'm sure this Lancer defense will hold strong for this majority of the game. They've got an amazing defensive line and some great safeties as well. As for offense, I'm sure once Andy Maddox comes out, last week against West, we saw him passing all over the field. I believe he was 4 for 5 on passes that night. Some great plays by Maddox. But I'm sure we're going to expect to see a lot of running from Lancers as they come out for Milton Brosh, just to try to test this Gardner defense.
Yeah, it seems as though Andy Maddox has really gotten more comfortable in the position of quarterback since he first started off this season. This is his first year as the varsity quarterback, and it looks like he's really taking it into stride. As the ball is pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
That run was by number 6, Luke Jennings.
And if you just saw, it looks as though Jay Sprague was taken off the field after that hit. He was really cradling that left knee. He's being looked at by the trainers on the side of the field over there. It doesn't look too serious, so he may come back later in the game.
Here's another handoff to Jennings.
And that's
Great
Cooper.
stop.
That's Cooper Walden in the backfield with the early stop. Cooper has been a guy all year long, a senior leader for this team. We saw him all of last season too as a starting outside linebacker, and this year he's kind of stepped more into the role that guys like Simon Bradley had last year. He's not as big as other linebackers like Carter Triple, but his speed on the edge rush is not matched by anyone else on this team. He is so good at getting in the backfield, getting in the face of the quarterback, and right there you see just as much as his pass rush, he is great at sealing up the run, getting on that outside, forcing runners up the middle where the Lancers have. It looks like there might have been a little bit of jump on there. The Trailblazers may have a free play.
There's a handoff to Jennings, and he goes out the right side, and it looks like he did get the first down there.
This is some good momentum for the Trailblazers. Already making their way down about 60 yards down the field since that kickoff.
Yeah, just thinking back, the Lancers did stop them on that third down play, but the costly error they had on defense, which resulted in a 10-yard penalty and a first down, is costing them greatly here as Gardner approached the red zone.
Here's the snap back to Tevin. And it looks as though it will be Baylor Maxwell taking it up the right side for a gain of about 3 yards.
So if you notice so far, a lot of the Trailblazers' rushes have been to the outside. That's because they've had film on this Lancer defense all year. They know that how strong this defensive front is, and that some of their issues this year have been in sealing the outside with their cornerbacks and making open field tackles. So you're going to see this Trailblazer offense pushing the outside all early this game. The thing about this Lancer team, though, and especially about the coaching staff, is how good they are at making adjustments. And so I'd expect, you see this first drive has been pretty successful, but as the game goes on, look for East to make some defensive adjustments and look to seal the outside more, maybe not load the box with as many linebackers and give some. And right there, like, the refs are resetting the clock. Appears there was a malfunction in the booth, and they'll get the game going in a second.
So the clock is reset back to 6 minutes, 12 seconds, which left in this first quarter. And we're going to see Gertzman lining up right behind his center once again. It's another handoff. Looks like that was Jennings once again trying to break through the middle, but he's going to be stopped at looked like a gain of about 7 yards.
So far, the Trailblazers are doing a nice job of keeping time of possession in their favor. So far in this game, there's only about 6 minutes left to go in this first quarter, and the Lancers have yet to touch the ball. Nice work by this team that coming in, their offense was their weak point, and it's hard to find a bigger weak point when you have a team that's 0-8. But so far, they've done a nice job managing the run and getting some wear and tear down on this Lancer defense. Early as Sprague finds a hole on the outside and busts open to about the 3-yard line. That was a nice gain, and just like I said earlier, this Trailblazer defense is looking for all the holes they can find in the outside. Right there, doing a nice job pulling their guards, paving a way for Sprague, who's had a nice game so far.
Yeah, Gardner now in the red zone here. Lancers going to have to get a big stop. 1st and goal for Gardner, only 3 yards left.
And excuse me, that was actually Tevin McKelvey who on that last run. Sprague is still loosening up on the sidelines.
Looks like we're going to see another run here from the Trailblazers.
Here's the snap back.
And it's going to be a great touchdown from Gardner. Jumping into the end zone is number 3, Matt Lang. And Gardner, just like I was saying earlier, a flashback to the game against Lawrence. The Gardner are going to be the first ones on the scoreboard. 6-0, Gardner to the Lancers.
See, Mac, this is why those games are important in the regular season. You're talking about that Lawrence game when the Lancers got down early, and this crowd who's just expected to seeing this football team come out and dominate opponents from kickoff to the very last second. As you see right there, a missed field goal. Those kind of things can come back to bite you if this game ends up being close. But you said it, Mac. Early in the game, no Lancer was expecting to be down to this 0-8 football team. But Delaney's been working on his guys all year, no matter what the situation, just to be focused and in the moment. And you see this Lancer offense is going to come out for the first time, and I bet you they are going to be wanting up some payback.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if Andy Maddox puts the ball up a bit more than we usually see him do. As I was saying earlier, he's gotten more comfortable in his position, but even still, we see quite a few running plays from the Shawnee Mission East defense. I would say offense. I would say about 90% of the plays, offensive plays that the Lancers run, are usually running plays. So if Andy Mattis can just air out that ball a bit more, maybe to players such as Keelan Bolton or Harrison Gooley, it'd be a way to get some more points up there on the board.
Yeah, Drake. Also, this is only the second time this season Lancers have been under in the first quarter, not the first team to score a touchdown. So we'll see what they can answer here with Keelan Bolton and Milton Brosh in the backfield ready to return this kick. It's going to be number 7, Leon Gaeta. And it's going to be a terrible kick. Looks like it might have been onside. Not sure what happened there. The Lancers are going to receive it, and they're going to start at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and that was actually Cole Mahusky just scooping that ball right out of the air. It looks like he tripped up, though, and the ball will be placed down at the 34-yard line.
Now some great field possession. In 5 minutes, 7 seconds left. The Lancers are going to start their first offensive drive of the game. Andy Maddox takes the snap, fakes it off to Brosh, takes it himself, does some great running. He's got some major grass here, going straight up the middle. He's got some major grass, 20, 15, 10, and he trips up, but looks like he did get the touchdown there. Andy Maddox, first run of the game, and it's a touchdown for the Lancers.
Took him one play for the Lancers to find the end zone there, and that's exactly what you were talking about, Mac. When you have guys like Milton Brosh and this potential Simone candidate for the best player in the city, all these guys are keying in on Brosh. They're looking for the run up the middle. If you watch film on East, 95% of their offensive plays are just right up the gut, and right there, that's why it's so easy to catch teams off guard. You run a quick option, let Maddox use his legs, and he finds a hole so easily to put this game at 7-6, Shawnee Mission East Lancers over the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers.
Yeah, Robbie, and that missed PAT from Gardner is now coming back to bite them, with Parker Willis easily making that PAT, giving the Lancers a 1-point lead. And just some quick history here. In the last meeting last year against Gardner and the Lancers did only win by 1 point, 36-35.
And Drake, you were talking about how you'd like to see Maddox stretch the field a little bit more with the pass game, and I could not agree more. I think a lot of times having a quarterback who doesn't have to pass all the time, but every so often just letting a defense know that he has the ability to throw can stretch the field and help the running game a lot. But I would expect to see this Lancer team sticking to the ground for the vast majority of this game. When you have guys like Milton Brosh and can run up the middle, as the kickoff right there is to number 1, who finds a hole, finds a bit of a seam, and is wrapped up for a nice return to about the 37-yard line for the Trailblazers, to set up shop. But like I was saying, you can just absolutely wear teams down if you stick to the run game and just run up the gut. If you can average about 4 or 5 yards a carry, it will not even be close. So expect Delaney to stick to the ground this game, maybe the occasional pass from Maddox, but the majority of this game is going to be on the ground for this offense.
Yeah, and for any other high school team, I'd say that's probably a bad plan, just to keep the ball on the ground for the entire game. However, if a player like Milton Brosh, who can reliably take it up the middle or the side for 10 or 15 yards with every single play.
And there's a fumble on the play. Note, the ref's calling it back. It was a run from number 2, Baylor Maxwell, but he was down before the fumble occurred. Trailblazers now 2nd and 2. Kurtzman's going to fake hand it off. Gives it out to the outside. Looks like that's Jennings on the run. Breaks a few tackles and gets to the outside. A great run there from number 6, Luke Jennings.
And thus far in the game, this has really not been a dominant performance by the Lancers at all. Even though the Trailblazers are down, they really have been dominating on the offensive side of the ball. They have had no trouble picking up gain, especially on the outside. And both of their drives thus far have been moving pretty quickly along against a defense that has not allowed a lot of yards against some really great teams this year. So not the start this defense wants at all, and you can see Delaney on the sideline just fuming right now at his guys.
Yeah, well, going back to the game against the Lawrence Chesty Lions, that's how it was for about the first half. And then that Shawnee Mission East.
Kurtzman airs it out, and it's a terrible pass. Number 2, Isaiah Wright, almost with an amazing Odell Beckham-esque catch with his right hand, but it cannot
barely
stick
just slipped out right off the tip of his fingers. He's not happy about that.
No, and you'd expect nothing else out of Isaiah Wright. We shouldn't even be disappointed about that. He shouldn't have a chance to make a play. But Isaiah Wright, fantastic cornerback who started all last year as only a sophomore, but he just actually received an invite to the U.S. Military All-American game. So he's a guy who's got a bright future ahead of him in the game of football.
Kurtzman now hands it off to number 2, Baylor Maxwell, going up the right-hand side once again, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Very close to the first down there.
Again, going back to the outside rush game, it's the only thing that's been working for this team so far, and I would not expect this Gardner Edgerton team to keep going back to Getzman, who, as you see right there, just does not have the arm to compete at this level. But the thing about this Lancer team is they force teams that can't pass to have to do it late in games, and that's exactly what Delaney's going to ask of his guys, is to force this team to pass and to force them to make mistakes. And there's going to be a lot of turnovers created if they can end up stopping the run and forcing the Trailblazers to pass the football.
It's another run to the outside. That's number 28, Keegan Michael, trying to go up the left-hand side, but he's going to be stopped immediately. It looks like the Lancers are calling for no first down.
And it looks as though you're correct, Mac. There will be no first down. The refs are discussing it, and they're saying it's no good.
Looks like it's going to be 4th and inches here.
See, this is an interesting choice for they're bringing out the chains, but if this ball is short, which it looks like it might be by just a little bit, it's an interesting call for a coach because obviously this game is pretty close right now, but you know that this Lancer football team is going to put up points, and you might want to take advantage of the momentum you have right now. Go for it. Try and get on get on a touchdown rather than just settling for a field goal or even a punt here. Actually, that looks like it's going to be a first down for the Trailblazers. From the booth, it did not look like that initially would have been good, but refs brought out the chains, and it's going to be a fresh set of downs for the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers.
Now 3 minutes, 29 seconds left in this first quarter. Lancers still leading by 1. Gardner now with a fresh start, 1st and 10.
Handed off to number 6, Luke Jennings, who takes it up the right side of the field for about 5 yards gained. He will be taken down at the 25-yard line. Hopefully the Shawnee Mission East Lancers can stop this momentum in the second drive for the Trailblazers.
As you've mentioned a bunch of times, Robbie, here we see once again Luke Jennings going out on the right-hand side. Lancers definitely need to start trying to stop these outside runs. I'm sure defensive coordinators on the east side will be quick to stop these, but I'm not sure how. It looks like Gardner just keep packing that right-hand side with blockers like they are doing once again with Luke Jennings. And looks like they might have stopped him. It was a very close call there, the first down.
Well, it's tough for a defense like this to adjust when they play a lot of their game by loading the inside of the box and really trusting their corners on the outside. But when you got teams that are trying to target the outside, it's tough to put your cornerbacks in the position where they have to make solo tackles. So expect to either see a defensive adjustment, or there's a good chance Delaney just sits his cornerbacks down and says the team has to kind of trust them and put them on their back to wrap up and make some open field tackles. On this huge 3rd and 1 play, goes up the middle and finds a hole. Good for more than a first down. That's going to be about a gain of 9 on the play to set up a 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line for the Trailblazers. And second time they've been in the red zone tonight already on only their second drive. Things really could this defense could really not be off to a worse start.
Yeah, Robbie, I don't think the Lancer defense is necessarily doing that bad of a job. It's just Gardner are just breaking them down with these runs one after another. And like we saw, their Lancers are very good against passing plays, but against these running plays, it's just hard with this Gardner offensive line doing a great job providing some holes for the runners. Here we see once again, number 1 from Keegan Michael going up the left-hand side, but that's only going to be a gain of a few yards.
And you said it, Mac, the Trailblazers may be an 0-8, but they've got a great offensive line. They have done a great job all season of opening up lanes for their backfield, but that's going to play a huge role tonight, the matchup of the defensive versus the offensive front. If this line ends up getting gas from all the run blocking, or the Trailblazers like to pull guards a lot of the time on these outside runs, and if they start to get gas, that could play a huge factor in the end of this game, as he's wrapped up for a gain of about 3 to put it at 3rd down and looks like about 1 yard to go. On yet again a huge 3rd down play as the clock is winding down with about 35 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and I believe the Trailblazers may just be walking this off and waiting till the second quarter.
And that was number 6, Luke Jennings, once again. And I wanted to mention he is listed here on the roster as a tight end, but looks like due to Jay Sprague's injury early in the game, he has adapted to this running back role, and he's done a great job so far for Gardner. 7 seconds left, and it is going to be a touchdown for Gardner.
They may be marking it short. The refs are conferring, but I believe that actually will be short. Nope, they did. They ruled it a touchdown. That's going to be a touchdown to make the score 12-7. Trailblazers over the Lancers with 4 seconds left to go in this first quarter, and not a lot of Lancer fans would be expecting this game to be ending in the first quarter down to this 0-8 football team, but that's exactly what's been happening.
And it looks as though they may go for the 2-point conversion here. Hopefully trying to regain that point that they lost in the first failed kick.
This will be run outside to the left, and the two-point conversion is going to be good.
Easily
that was
walking
number
in
2,
there.
Baylor Maxwell, on the play. Oh, looks like there's a fight.
There we go.
Bit of a fight in the back zone there. Looks like it was Keelan Bolton there, getting pushed away by his players. Not sure what happened there. Bit of a tussle in the backfield. Keelan Bolton is heated on the sidelines.
Incredibly angry.
That's not at all what you want to see this early in a game, especially in a game like this, which everyone expected would just be a cakewalk. The last thing you want is disruption within your team. It looks like at the end of that play we saw some Lancers fighting, and there we see
Keelan.
2 huge ejections. That is a huge call by the ref right there. Number 5, Keelan Bolton, star cornerback for the Lancers and receiver. That is a big ejection right there. And like I was saying, I mean, first round of the playoffs, you expect this to be a cakewalk, but if you're starting to get some fighting within your own locker room, it is the last thing you want to do when you're trying to make a playoff run. And it'd be a huge waste of this team if they start just fighting amongst themselves. So I'm sure Coach Delaney is talking to his guys right now, just getting them all together, because that is not something that they ever accept on this football team.
Yeah, especially from Keelan Bolton. In every other game that we've seen before this, he's been a pretty cool-headed guy. So I wonder what got him so riled up at the end zone there.
Yeah, you got to wonder. Maybe it was a comment about him or something. We're not sure, but he's getting walked back to the locker room now. Huge loss for Lancers. Keelan, just an amazing player, both sides for the Lancers in terms of defense and offense as a wide receiver and cornerback. But hopefully Lancers can overcome this loss here.
Yeah, and that'll definitely make this game much harder for the Lancers. They've already had a difficult time at slowing down that Trailblazer momentum. And it looks as though the fight is continuing on the right side of the field there. Coach is having to come and break it up.
Looks like, not exactly sure what's happening, but on the far side of the field, the Gardner Edgerton player who was ejected and being escorted started fighting the coach who was escorting him off the field. And, man, just something we have not seen a lot this year is fighting like this. And both players are being escorted to their locker rooms, and really could not have been a worse start to this game for the Lancer team, despite
Tyler Stottle, Ryan Hess there on the reception, kick return.
Yeah, and that's the first ejection we've seen from the Shawnee Mission East Lancers all year.
And over here, see here, Lancers coming out. Looks like very hyped up.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter. The current score is 7-14. The Trailblazers ahead. Join us again here soon for the second quarter of this game. You ready?
And welcome back to this SMEHarbinger.net live broadcast here. First playoff of the year for Lancers against Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers. And if you're just joining us, so far Lancers are in fact down by a touchdown, 7-14. Lancers on their second offensive drive of the game. And just before the first end of the first quarter, Keelan Bolton, Lancer wide receiver and cornerback, was in fact ejected. As we see, Milton Brushmean, great run outside the left, but it looks like he was just short of the first down.
And a rare thing from the Lancers, that entire first quarter, they only had the ball for one offensive snap. the entire first quarter, the Trailblazers had the ball and just really dominating time possession. The Lancers were able to have one snap for a 60-yard touchdown by Anderson Maddox, but on the defensive side of the ball, they've been struggling against a team that really has not had any offensive success all year long. They've been running all over them, and right there, you saw the end of the quarter, right after the touchdown, number 5, Keelan Bolden getting ejected from the game, which could be a huge blow late in this game as Brosh keeps his leg churning for about a gain of 5 on the play. And like we were saying, that was just a weird sequence of events, one that we really haven't seen a lot covering this team. Is just Keelan Bolden, who's a guy who all year long has been a leader, lost his head in a way that he's never done before. And you got to think maybe there was some kind of comment made to him that kind of riled him up. But right now he is in the locker room and will be there for the rest of the game. As Maddox pitches out to number 8, Cole Mahusky, who spins off the tackle but is still brought down behind the line of scrimmage to bring up a Lancer 3rd and 6. And right here, it's a pretty big 3rd down. Really, it's only the 4th play the Lancer offense has run, and they've got to make a statement to kind of get the momentum back in their favor and get control back of this ball game.
Yeah, Lancers not used to trailing this entire season, so definitely need to get this first down here to answer back and get tied up in this game. You're going to see Andy Maddox lining up with Milton Brosh right behind him. Looks like it might have been a false start there.
I don't see a flag on the play.
Lancers taking a while to snap this.
And it looks as though the Lancers will call a timeout. Coach Delaney's really got to talk to them, get their head in the game, especially after that Keelan Bolton ejection.
Yeah, I'm sure Delaney's just giving them a breather for a second. They just went right back into this second quarter after the ejection and right into this offensive drive. So I'm sure he's just going to make sure they got the exact play down, know exactly what they need to do to get this first down.
And if you were watching this game and didn't know which team was which, you'd expect the Trailblazers to be the Lancers right now. I mean, they really kind of took Delaney's game plan. They've just been running right at the Lancer defense, wearing them down, not taking to the air much, and just wearing this Lancer defense down for 2 big touchdowns on 2 consecutive drives. So we got to see this defensive line, after losing one of their senior leaders, come out and just make a statement next drive. And it all starts right here as Maddox snaps the ball and keeps it on the option, but is not going to get enough for the first down, bringing up a 4th and 3. And any other coach in any other situation, down 7 early on, his team is struggling, you'd think that he would automatically punt. And actually, yeah, it looks like he is punting right now. I was just about to say you never know with Delaney going for it, but the punting unit is out, and Milton Brosh is in the backfield looking to punt it off.
A rare sight we're seeing here. Lancers not often punting. We were not expecting this going to this game with Gardner 0-8 and Lancers only losing 1 game and dominating so far. Almost blocked there for Milton Brosh. The punt's not going to be a good one, only about 30 yards there. And it did go out of bounds. Gardner looks like they're very hyped up there on the sidelines, leading against the Lancers here. And now they have the ball once again.
Yeah, the offensive line for the Trailblazers have really been hitting the Shawnee Mission East defensive corners hard, which we know just by games against Rockhurst and the Chesty Lions a couple weeks back are definitely tough spots for the Shawnee Mission East Lancers. We've had a lot of trouble with the corners, and if they just keep hitting them like this, then they're going to be able to keep up the momentum with every single drive. As we see them once again hit the right side of the corner for a gain of about 8 yards there.
It was Luke Jennings once again. Some great speed there to get to the left-hand side.
Well, the other huge part of that ejection, we've seen all game so far, this Trailblazer team has really been pushing the ball the outside on these rushes, and losing your star cornerback is only going to make that even harder. You're going to have to trust guys like Tyler Sottle, some guys a little bit lower on the depth chart, to come in and make some big open field tackles. And it's asking a lot right now when this defense needs to stop. So this is a huge, huge possession for this Lancer defense.
Yeah, the Lancers have yet to stop a drive from the Trailblazers.
Another handoff to Maxwell on the left-hand side. And he's going to get stopped. Looks like very close to the first down there.
And they're saying it is a first down for the Trailblazers there. Looks as though he's able just to get that ball a little a little bit by the first down line.
You know, Mac, this is very reminiscent of last year's game against Gardner Edgerton. The school as a whole came in thinking it'd be an easy win, just kind of just a quick stop on the road to state. And this Gardner Edgerton team put up a very scary effort with a final score of 36-35, and it's exactly the same thing. East had no trouble handling the defense, but the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers, as Getzer looks for a wide open man and just overshoots him.
Unfortunate.
He burned right there. I think the intended receiver was number 1, I believe. That is Tevin McKelvey, who was wide open down the field and just overshot. But like I was saying, the East was able to handle the Trailblazer defense pretty well, but the offense just kept putting up points against them, and that's exactly what we've seen so far.
Yeah. Lane Mayer actually had 2 people just completely wide open deep down the field, and he missed that throw there, which is, as you've been saying, Robbie, a show of how he's not too confident in his throwing skills and pretty weak arm against this Shawnee Mission East team.
Big third down right here. 3rd and 6 for the Trailblazers, and if Lancers could get a stop right here, it's out of field position. It'd be a big momentum changer at a time in the game when they desperately need one.
Lancer crowd trying to get really loud here, and looks like that was a false start. I believe I saw number 78 jump the gun there for Gardner. And it is going to be a false start against Gardner, pushing him back 10 yards, or 5 yards, excuse me.
A costly loss for them. Definitely could have gotten a first down with that last play, but it's looking pretty dire for them right now. I doubt they're going to get it with this next play.
Now 3rd and 11. You have to know that the Lancers are going to be expecting to run here, as we've seen no good passes from Gertzman so far. And it is actually going to be a pass. He's got major time in the backfield, and it's caught. But looks like, he broke the tackle. Looks like it was a very close there once again for the first down.
The refs, maybe, that's a little bit of a conservative spot. From here, it looked like he gave it, but they'll give it to him there. Big play for the Trailblazers right there, and those are the kind of effort plays that in games like this are going to make the difference. Right there, Gardner Edgerton receiver just making a guy miss. That was Tevin McKelvey. Just great extra effort, and this Lancer team just needs to wrap up. They've made a lot of missed tackles earlier in this game, as the ball's handed off and wrapped up in the. He escapes the tackle, but then will be gang tackled. That is number 2, Baylor Maxwell, wrapped up for a loss of 4 on the first down.
Yeah, Robbie, you just have to wonder, that's Keelan Bolton's position right there on the left-hand side. He would have been guarding that wide receiver most likely, and with him out of the game, Lancers looking just like they have a big gaping hole right there with that cornerback position. Now 2nd and 11. Gardner looking to rebound from that bad running play. And they're going to hand it off to Maxwell once again, going to the left-hand side this time. And he's going to be wrapped up. A great tackle from the Lancer defense.
But there's a late flag from the far right side of your screen that may have been some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm not quite sure, but it was very late and after the play was over.
Yeah, and it looks as though Isaiah Wright wasn't too happy with that flag. It could possibly be on him.
The refs have yet to make a decision. But they're signaling Delaney. I believe that's going to be holding on the Trailblazers, excuse me. They're asking Coach Delaney if he'd like to accept or decline it right now.
And it looks as though Coach Delaney will decline that call.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down and very long. Looks like it's about 15 on the play. And this is another huge 3rd down. Right after the Lancers gave up that big 3rd down on the last 3rd down attempt, they've got to make a statement right here. They've got to show that they're going to put in the effort to give the ball back to their offense and let them make some plays.
Here's the snap back.
Hirschman's backing up to throw it, and he goes right up the middle. Another throw way too long, and the Lancers, looks like Gardner's going to be forced to punt here. That pass was intended for number 80, Gage Gully.
That's two extremely long passes from Cade Eldred, both of which have been far over the head of his receivers.
I believe you mean that was 17 Tyler Gitzman for the Trailblazers. And, it's exactly what that last set of downs is exactly what this Lancer football team needs to do on the defensive side of the ball. They need to make sure they're stopping the run, sealing the outside, and forcing this team to make long third down attempts where they have to pass, because East is going to have no trouble as the ball rolls into the end zone for a touchdown. This Lancer secondary has been so solid all year, and even without Keelan Bolden, with guys like Cooper Walton and P.J. Spencer able to get in the backfield and create some disruption, especially on an inexperienced quarterback like Getzman, they're going to be able to create some chaos, and forcing them to throw the ball in the air, they're not going to be able to do much.
Obviously, the Lancers come out for the third offensive drive of the game. Stopped last time and forced to punt, and see what Andy Maddox and Milton Brosh can do here. Looks like it was a fake handoff to Brosh, now outside for Peyton Wickland. And there's going to be a flag on the play once again.
Looks like it may have been holding against the Lancers, but we'll see what the call is. They're walking back. I believe they know it was a penalty on. Yep, that'll be a holding call on the Lancers. And already that's the second pretty big penalty we've seen from this team all year, from this game. And it's something that we haven't seen much out of them this year. They've been pretty disciplined for the most part. So we'll see if they can start to limit those penalties early on in this game.
Yeah, and this is pretty reminiscent of the Lawrence game that we saw a couple weeks ago, where the Shawnee Mission East Lancers had quite a few costly penalties the first half of the game. So let's see if they can work on that for the second.
Now 1st and 20, Andy Maddox tosses it out wide to Colma Husky. He's got some major room there on the right-hand side, and he's going to get big tackle there from Gardner. That was a great run. Looks like it was about 15 yards there.
That'll put the ball at around 2nd and 6. Here's the snap back to Maddox.
Now toss to the opposite side. That's Peyton. Looks like, yeah, Peyton Wickland on the run there, and he did get the first down and then some. Two great back-to-back runs from Peyton Wickland and Colma Husky on the outsides. Looks like Lancers have just stolen a little bit what Gardner are doing against them, just running out the outside, making sure to pack those sides that they're going, able to go around those cornerbacks and get some great yardage here.
Watch right here. Gardner Edgerton coming out in the 7-man front, loading the box as Milton Brosh goes up for about a gain of 1. This Gardner Edgerton team is expecting the run. You see right there the 7-man front with the 3 linebackers in the box. They're expecting the run up the middle, and it's exactly what the Lancers are going to give them. Yeah,
this is a very important drive for the Lancers, possibly the last time they come into contact with the ball before the end of the first half. Still down 7-14 as we have 5 minutes, 14 seconds left on this clock.
It's a toss to Brosh, but he gets stopped immediately. Only gained about 2 yards on the play. Not able to break through on that right-hand side.
This is a huge 3rd down and long right here for this offense. Down 7 to a team that's 0-8 on your own home field with about 5 minutes left to go in this second quarter. The momentum has been all Trailblazers so far, and they are desperately in need of a first down right here.
And don't forget, whoever loses this game is going home. Andy Maddox steps back, some major pressure, and it's a pass caught by Peyton Wickland. A great play from the Lancers, and they do get the first down there.
That's a beautiful throw by Andy Maddox. That's the kind of play that we never would have seen him made early on in the season. A young guy, only a junior. Last year he really didn't play at all except for a couple snaps late in games, and we saw him struggle a little bit with his composure early on in the season. But right there, standing in the pocket with guys converging all around him, gets a quick release, finds his guy, airs it out perfectly. It's a great throw by Andy Maddox, showing a lot of composure when this team really, really needed it. And that's going to be Gardner Edgerton taking the timeout here. And we will be right back after this break.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
And welcome back after that short timeout from Gardner. Lancers now still on their third offensive drive of the game, 1st and 10. Andy Maddox takes the snap, a fake handoff to Brosh, pitches it out wide to Mahusky. Got some major room there on the outside, gets the first down, and then about another 7 yards there. A great run from Mahusky to open the game up after that timeout. Looks like the Lancers are going this go-ahead offense here.
And this Trailblazer team not immune to a little taste of their own medicine. Lancers coming right out and targeting the outside rush just like the Trailblazers have been doing all game. Nice pickup right there by Mahusky.
Maddox once again with the read option, tossing it out wide this time to Ryan Hess there on the left. Garrett Boshin there on the run on the
Garrett
left-hand
Boshin
side.
actually taking that ball to the 10-yard line. Just back-to-back fantastic plays between Andy Maddox, Garrett Boshin, and Cole Mahusky.
And it all started from that Maddox completion to Peyton Wickland. Really nice job by this quarterback. He's not called upon to pass a lot, but great job by him making it count when they needed him.
Yeah, when Andy Maddox does pass, it's usually completed, as you were talking about earlier.
Maddox now takes the snap, leaves it right up the middle to Milton Brosh, who looks like was trying to reach for the end zone there. Not sure what the refs are they're calling him down there. Looks like he was 1 yard short. Gardner did pick it up thinking it was a fumble, but he was down. Now Lancers just 1 yard away from tying up this game. Gardner packing the mid. It's going to be a handoff to Milton Brosh through the middle, and it is going to be a touchdown. Lancers now one point under this Gardner team with Parker Willis coming out for the PAT.
Now if the Lancers can slow down this drive, that'll be the end of the first half, and they'll get that ball back. A good chance for them to regain the lead in this game.
And that's what you get when you have grinders like Milton Brosh on your team. He's great for the huge plays. He's great for the huge tackles on defense, but what he gives you is some insurance, as Parker Willis is good on the kick. I mean, if this team gets within 10 yards, even 20 yards, it's almost every single time a guaranteed touchdown, especially in 5. I mean, you might as well put 6 points on the board. Milton Brosh has been lights out in the red zone so far this year, and right there you see again just adding to his touchdown total on the year to make it 14-14. Shawnee Mission East tied with the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers with 3 minutes to go in the half, and that drive is exactly what this team needed. After a pretty big defensive stop, when all of the momentum was on this 0-8 Trailblazer team's favor, after losing Keelan Bolton to the ejection early in the game, this Lancer defense made a big stop, and then the offense came out and played their game. It's exactly what they've been doing all year, just running down defenses. They'll have a couple third downs. It won't be a dominant, flashy offense, but they will get that job done. And great job right there, starting, like I said before, Anderson Maddox clutch third down pass, which just allowed this offense to do what it does, and it makes the score 14-14 with 3 minutes left to go in this half.
Yeah, that was a nice variety of plays in that last drive that we saw from the Shawnee Mission East Lancers. Usually we see Andy Maddox just handing it off to Milton Brosh, but he actually got it out to a lot of other players like Cole Mahusky, and airing it out a few times.
Here we see the Gardner kick return getting tackled immediately at about the 22-yard line.
Tyler Stottle just dropping him dead in his tracks.
This game so far, like we've been saying, it's very similar to the Lawrence game. A very heavy offensively powered game, with both defenses not performing as they should.
So you expect to see Delaney start getting strategic with this clock management right here. If the Lancers can get 1 or 2 big stops early on in this first set of downs, you might expect to see Delaney call a timeout, hoping to get his offense the ball back to hopefully get another score in before the half as they hand the ball off and finds a seam. He only has one man to beat, and there's a lot of grass in front of him.
Luke Jennings wide open, only got one more man to beat, and he is going to be taken down. An amazing tackle from the Lancers, but that is an amazing run from Luke Jennings.
Yeah, I believe that was
about
actually
70-yard run.
Yeah, 75-yard run. That was
That was the very last thing this Lancer defense needed after one of the roughest first halves of this entire season against a team everyone expected to come out and dominate. A 76-yard gain right after the Lancers had started getting momentum back in their favor. And now with 3 minutes left in the half, you could see this Gardner Edgerton team taking a 7-point lead, something no one expected.
It was a great run from Jennings, able to just break through the left and center of that Lancer defensive line, and some great speed there from him as well.
Driving straight up the middle, and it looks as though the refs are deciding whether or not that was a touchdown. It looks like it could be down just 1 yard.
Looks like the Lancers did stop them there.
And never count the Lancers out in situations like this. Their big dog defense has been so successful all season. They've been one of the best teams in the state of Kansas in stopping the run and the pass in the red zone. And second down, on 1 yard to go, this is when Delaney wants to see some pride out of his defense and look for them to load the box and expect a run right up the gut. And right back with the quarterback sneak. This time it looks like it might be good, waiting for the signal, and that is going to be a touchdown for the Trailblazers. That's number 17, Tyler Gitzman, with 2 minutes left to go in the game, bringing the score to 20-14. And I've been saying it all night, this is not the Lancer defense that we've seen all season long.
No, it is not. The Lancers are really going to have to come out with some big plays in these remaining 2 minutes if they want to tie up the game once more.
Gardner now opting for the PAT here, not going for the 2-point conversion.
Here's the kick, and it will be good. That'll make the score 21-14. 2 minutes left on the clock with the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers ahead.
Now with 1 minute 59 seconds left in the first half, Gardner are going to be kicking the ball to the Lancers.
And there is absolutely no point in panicking for this Lancer defense, right? Or for this entire Lancer team right now. There's still an entire half of football left to play and only down 7. It's not exactly what you wanted from your team, but you've seen enough out of these guys all year in some tougher positions than this. They got to trust their guys. They got to calm down a little bit, stay out of their heads, and you know that Delaney is going to have a word with all of these guys at the half. And there's a lot of defensive adjustments they have to make. They have to make sure they're possessing the ball more. They're just kind of running the ball more and helping their defense stay off the field after the Trailblazers have just dominated time of possession in this first half. But there's no time for panic, but definitely time to kind of put the foot back on the throttle for this Lancer offense.
Lancers definitely going to need a fast offensive drive here with only 2 minutes left in the first half. We'll see what they can do here. Gardner with the punt, or the kick, excuse me. It's a good punt, a good kick from Gardner, caught by, looks like that's Isaiah Wright there, doing a spin move, going out on the right-hand side, breaking a few tackles, and a great run from Isaiah Wright, getting as many yards as possible. He's very hyped up on the left-hand side, getting to the 30-yard line.
Still 1 minute 49 seconds left in this first half. We've seen the Lancers put points on the board with less time than this, and they definitely need to before this first half ends, because then they'll be getting the ball back, and that'll be a good chance to get even further ahead.
Now Andy Maddox lining up with Milton Brosh behind him. It's going to be another read option, and he is going to be sacked here. First sack of the night for Gardner.
Not too much of a loss, just about 1 yard it looks to be.
You see Gardner Edgerton expecting the option. They dropped down one of their safeties into a QB spy, and Delaney's got to notice that sometimes if he's telegraphing plays, defenses will make adjustments. So right now, coming out in the flexbone, again, and this Gardner Edgerton team again dropping a safety down into QB spy as he drops back to pass and looks to find Milton Brosh in the check down, who has a lot of room in front of him. Milton Brosh eyeing down a tackle who makes a miss and is brought down at the Gardner Edgerton 33-yard line. Big play. Nice job by Maddox finding the easy check down to Milton Brosh. So good in yards after the catch. Right there with a 34-yard gain. with a minute left and plenty of time to work for this Lancer offense.
You can just tell that Gardner was not expecting a throw there. Milton Brosh wide open on the left-hand side, able to get a great pass, and then some extra yards there for the Lancers. 1 minute, 9 seconds left. Lancers approaching the red zone. Andy Maddox stepping back once again. He's got some major pressure. He tosses it to, looks like that's Brosh once again. A great tackle, missed a tackle. A great run there from Brosh, able to break 2 tackles and get almost first down.
We'll wait that call, but I believe that may be on the Trailblazers. Actually, that's going to be on the Lancers, going to bring back 10 yards, and that's a costly penalty, bringing it to 2nd down and about 20. But I love that play call, coming right back after the halfback wheel and calling the screen right back to Milton Brosh, but setting him back now for a long 2nd and 20.
Another costly
Actually, first and 20, excuse me.
Another costly mistake by the Lancers. Just a stupid penalty once again. But the Lancers, with the clock ticking down to 55 seconds, going to have to perform a great passing play here. Andy Maddox stepping back, looking at outside. Garrett Boshin, a great catch there. Looks like the refs might be calling that the ball hit the ground.
I believe that will be a completion, but Delaney is calling a quick timeout, stop the clock, get a word with his guys. 46 seconds is plenty of time to work with on the Gardner Edgerton 41-yard line. And if you're Delaney, I'm sure you're thinking touchdown and nothing else. But you also got to remember, you got one of the best kickers in the country in Parker Willis, who can, if you need him to, he can boot it. So the Lancers have to be thinking touchdown, but if it gets down to about 20 seconds, they also need to be thinking about a field goal, see if they can get out of bounds, give him some time to set up and just get some kind of points on the board, because down 7 to a team that you should be destroying, you just need some momentum heading in the locker room after a really rough first half all around.
Yeah, and earlier on in the season, in the game Shawnee Mission East versus Shawnee Mission North, we actually saw Parker Willis kick a 57-yard field goal in the middle of a game, which was absolutely insane. So we do know he can make it from this position on the field.
Andy Maddox now takes the snap. He's stepping back once again, tossing it to Brosh, who does catch it. Going out the right-hand side now, and he's going to be stopped. Unfortunately, only a gain of a few yards due to Maddox stepping back so far. Now another timeout from Delaney. Lancers with only 1 timeout left now.
Yeah, it looks as though it'll be 3rd and 9.
And that was actually some nice awareness from Maddox. It looks like he's making a mistake, but he recognized immediately a huge breach in his offensive line, and rather than taking a sack, he has a nice deeper drop back than he would normally be. And even though he barely got back to the line of scrimmage, it's a lot better than a sack, which forces his team almost out of field goal range. So big 3rd down and 9 right here with 37 seconds left to go in the half. There's still time to get out of bounds, get a whole nother set of downs, and probably get 2 or 3 more shots at the end zone. But right here, it's all about picking up that first down first.
And you have to wonder, will the Lancers go for a pass or run here? We're going to see Andy Maddox take the snap. Looks like he is stepping back for a pass. He's got the right-hand side open, and the ball is going to be dropped, though. Looks like that was Cole Mahusky on the right-hand side.
They're going to call that a completion and a fumble that is recovered by Isaiah Wright.
Oh, wow.
That is
Isaiah
a
Wright.
huge call for the Lancers rather than an
on top of the
incompletion.
ball.
I'm not sure if I completely agree, but this Lancer team really needed a break like that, setting up a first down with the clock at 30 seconds left to go in the half.
Now
As
Andy
Maddox dropped
stepping
back.
back once again, back to Isaiah Wright, who does a great turn, and he is going to get the first down there.
21 seconds left on the clock. Only about 7 yards to go before the zone.
Lancers looking to tie this game up before the end of the first half. Let's go into that second half with a bit of momentum. Andy Maddox stepping back once again, looking to the left, and Cole Mahusky was the intended recipient, but it was just a tiny bit underthrown from Maddox. Now
That could not have been a bigger call for this Lancer team. Rather than making it 4th and 9, a little bit out of even Parker Willis's kicking range, they're left with a second and goal right here with 16 seconds left on the clock. They have tons of options to do whatever they want here. At least 2 more shots, maybe 3, into the end zone as Gardner is charged with a timeout here, and Delaney's got some time to talk over the options with his team. But down 7, this is a pretty crucial moment for this offense to see if they can break into the end zone here.
Robbie, what do you think Delaney's telling his team right now? What kind of play do you think they're going to run here?
Knowing Delaney, in situations like this, he does like to trust his guys that he know will make the big plays. So I would expect maybe coming back with a screen to Milton Brosh. He loves to do that kind of pass in short yardage situations. I've also seen him do a couple, like we saw earlier in the game, those halfback wheel routes where Brosh drops into the pass blocking zone, and once he picks up a block or two, kind of bounces out in the flat, and Maddox is really good at finding those check down guys. So maybe not asking Maddox to make a huge fade throw or some kind of more difficult pass, but just trusting your guys like Brosh. And honestly, there's still time to run the ball if they want to. They've got a timeout.
Yeah, and here we see Maddox stepping back for the pass, and it is not going to be completed. The pass recipient was Cole Mahusky once again. Looks like just could not stab it there.
I think there may have been some miscommunication on those crossing routes there. You see number 24, Harrison Gooley, very upset. Looks like there might have been some just a missing link between the quarterback and receiver there, but it's 3rd down and goal with 11 seconds to go. And if they don't complete this here, I'm not sure if Delaney's going to be thinking field goal or touchdown.
Andy Maddox is going to step back for the pass. Got some major pressure, but it is going to be a pass completed to Brosh, but he is going to be taken down. About 1 yard left. They're going to run this go-ahead with 1 seconds left. And that is going to be the end of the first half. Lancers not able to get that touchdown. I'm sure they're very upset here, but we're going to be right back for this second half coverage. Lancers are losing here by 1 touchdown, 14-21 against Gardner Edgerton. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
guessing it's me. You guessed correctly. I just say what a stallion. You would swear I wasn't equestrian. I'm a hitter with that pipe. Call that Nancy Kerrigan. All we do is pour it out all night. Trade sounds. And all we pour it out all night. Trade sounds. Strange clouds.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
Correctly, I just play with a stallion. You would swear I wasn't a question. I'ma hit her with that pipe. Call that Nancy Kerrigan. All we do is pour it out all night. Dre sounds. And all we pour it out all night. Dre sounds. Strange clouds.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
Correctly, I just play with a stallion. You would swear I wasn't a question. I'ma hit her with that pipe. Call that Nancy Kerrigan. All we do is pour it out all night. Dre sounds. And all we pour it out all night. Dre sounds. Strange clouds.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
Correctly, I just say with a stallion. You would swear I wasn't a question. I'ma hit her with that pipe, call that Nancy Kerrigan. All we do is pour it out all night, Dre sounds. And all we pour it out all night, Dre sounds. Strange clouds.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
Correctly, I just say with a stallion. You would swear I wasn't a question. I'ma hit her with that pipe, call that Nancy Kerrigan. All we do is pour it out all night, Dre sounds. And all we pour it out all night, Dre sounds. Strange clouds.
Welcome to the Shawnee Mission East live broadcast.
And welcome back to tonight's broadcast of Shawnee Mission East football versus Gardner Edgerton. I'm Peyton Watts, joining this broadcast team tonight alongside Mac Newman and Robbie Vaglin to bring you guys the rest of this game. So far from what we've seen, this has not been one of East's better games. East is currently down 14-21. Just about to start this second half. Robbie, what have we seen that East needs to cap on to make this lead smaller?
The most overwhelming thing that this team needs to do is make some defensive adjustments going into the second half. First half, they were getting gashed by the outside run game, something that they've struggled with a little bit this season. They've done a great job all year of containing runs up the middle, really locking down the pass game with their really strong secondary. But all first half, we saw all these end-around runs or just halfback draws to the outside, and especially with losing star cornerback Keelan Bolden to ejection early in the game, they've got to rely on their cornerbacks to make some big open field tackles, maybe making some adjustment by dropping some of their linebackers more on the outside, just making sure they're sealing the rush and forcing these guys in the middle. On the offensive side of the ball, they've really done a nice job capitalizing on 2 of their 3 drives, but they only got the ball 3 times the entire first half. So the biggest thing they need to do is get the time of possession back in East's favor. This defense has been gassed all night. They've been on the field the entire time. The first quarter, the Lancers didn't even get to touch the football, except for one 60-yard Anderson Maddox touchdown on only one play. But this half, when the offense does have the ball, they need to possess it, wear down this defensive front of the Trailblazers. That's done a nice job tonight containing this Lancer offense, but they need to run the ball, play their game, make sure they're giving their defense a breath, and make sure they're making the defensive adjustments. I'm sure Delaney has been on his guys. I would not want to be in that locker room at halftime, down 7 to a team they'd expect to kill. But right now, Brosh muffs the ball a little bit, but picks it up. He has some space to the outside, and he makes a guy miss, still on his feet. Nice return up the left. He's still on his feet, making guys miss, and is brought down at the Lancer 39-yard line. Nice job by Brosh, giving this offense some good field position to set up shop. And like I was saying, this first drive right out of the gate, after the pretty crushing failure to capitalize at the end of that half. And end of that half, the Lancers really could not get into the end zone. So this first drive, they're going to need to make a statement, get the momentum back in their favor, and start playing Lancer football.
And we saw a lot last quarter, Andy Maddox throwing the ball. So we're going to see what he can do here. As he takes the snap, another read option, and he decides to give it to Brosh down the middle, a gain of a few yards there.
And if you're just joining this broadcast tonight, we are also updating the soccer score on that top right side of the scoreboard tonight. They're currently up 3-0 against J.C. Harmon in their game that is going on at the moment at Shawnee Mission South. We weren't able to broadcast it because we're bringing you Lancer football tonight. And so as we see here, the Lancers will be bringing the ball now on their own 40-yard line. Anderson Maddox, he's going to take the snap, hands it off, and pitches it off to Garrett Boshin, who will be stopped nearly immediately for a gain of nothing on that last play.
See, that's something that's been very impressive about this Trailblazer football team. For a team coming in 0-8, no wins on the season, they've done a great job of making in-game adjustments on defense. They saw Lancers having a lot of success early with these quarterback options or these pitches, and they've done every single play. They've been dropping down a safety into QB spy, so it's time for Delaney to start switching up the play calling a little bit.
So here's Maddox. He's going to hand it off to Brosh up the middle. He has some space, nearly breaks a tackle, and that'll give the Lancers a first down, and that is just what Milton Brosh does night in and night out. He just trucks his way up through the middle of the field, and he's going to get a first down consistently. Milton Brosh, just a star running back and a star player for this Shawnee Mission East offense.
This offense doing what they do almost every single weeknight. We see here just working their way slowly up the field through these runs with Milton Brosh and those read options with Maddox. Once again, Brosh takes it up the middle. He's got major room here, and he's going to be, looks like, finally stopped here. About a 20-yard run there from Brosh. 3 back-to-back great runs from Brosh here, just carrying this Lancer offense in the second half.
And what's so impressive about Brosh is not just that he can make that one cut, not that he has that elite speed to get into the secondary after breaking through the line, but you saw right there he got 8 or 9 yards after the contact, just keeping his legs churning. He had 2 or 3 guys just draped on him, and it looks like it's not that big a deal, but if you can pick up those extra yards, it pays off huge. Setting up a first down as they pitch out to Garrett Boshin, who's got some room, he's got a blocker in front of him, finds a seam, and is good for about a 9-yard gain on first down. Nice job by Boshin following his blockers, and that's also something this team does really well, is pull their guards, getting their guys in front on these edge rushes, and this offense, it's quick. There's no other way to say it. This is a really quick offense, and you see right there, right back to the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 1.
And Garrett Boshin, just one of the most phenomenal young players on this Lancer offense. As Maddox, he'll actually hand the ball off up the middle once again for, looks like a gain of maybe 3 yards on that last play. The Lancers will pick up a first down, and that'll bring up 1st and 10 for them on the opposing team's 19. And like I was saying about Boshin, he's just a speedy, quick player that when Maddox pitches the ball out to him on either side, he's able to find the seams. He's really good at reading the defense and is always picking up yards. Here's Maddox's offense once again. He's going to pitch it out to Peyton Wicklund on the right side. He's coming up. He's pushing through the defense, and that's going to be a Lancer touchdown tonight for Peyton Wicklund and the Shawnee Mission East Lancers. What a run from him to lower the gap down to just 1 point with 9 minutes and 21 seconds left in this third quarter. Peyton Wicklund coming in with that last touchdown. What a run from him.
Could not have been a better start to the half for this Lancer offense. The offensive line, really the MVP of this drive, coming out, making their blocks. You see 2 of those big pickups with the outside edge rushes right there on the touchdown, and also the one we saw earlier with Garrett Boshin. They're doing a great job pulling guards, which is something that a lot of offensive lines in the city really struggle to do. But we had some concerns coming in this year with an inexperienced line. It's a lot of smaller guys, but Delaney has done a great job of using the smallness of his line to his advantage, using it for quick plays like that, getting guards in front. And Peyton Wicklund's a guy that spent 3 years riding the bench. Last year, barely saw 2 or 3 varsity snaps all year long, and he's a guy who's really made an impact coming behind Milton Brosh. You see right there, just great vision downfield, following these blockers, getting into the end zone on a very crucial touchdown to bring the score to 21-21 with 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And now it's up for this defense to make a statement. They got a chance right here to put momentum thoroughly in the hands of the Lancers with a student section who was pretty quiet the first half and starting to get energized again here. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going and come up with a big stop. Going up another 7 points would be big for this Lancer team to keep this going.
And even though that this Lancer student section has been quiet during the first half, they were still supporting their team. When I was down on the sidelines helping out some of our photographers down there, I heard them chanting "Free Kilo." That's talking about Keelan Bolton, who was ejected in the first half because of actually getting into sort of a skirmish with the Gardner Edgerton player. As Gardner's going to muff that pass, and it's down on the ground. They will recover number 10. A huge hit on him. He'll be brought down. Making that hit, it looks like it's number 8, Cole Mahusky, or number 9, Rashawn Burney. What a hit from him. Wow, just lowers his shoulder a little bit and takes him out. What a hit.
There's nothing else that's going to rile up a defense more than a big hit. You see right there, number 2, Isaiah Wright, pumping his fists. This team is ready to get some vengeance after one of their weaker first halves of the entire season. And you're talking about it, Peyton. We found out at the half that it was actually after a late hit, after a touchdown early in the game, that Keelan Bolton got in a scrap, and actually the scrap continued even as the players are being ejected players are being escorted off. As the ball is handed up on a fullback dive up the middle, that's number 28. That is going to be Keegan Michael on the run for a gain of about 5. But yeah, that was a great kick coverage. East has done a great job all year long on special teams, and right there just getting their defense fired up for this next possession.
Now we're going to see Gardner coming out with these runs like we've seen him do all game with Luke Jennings, Keegan Michael, as well as Tevin McKelvey in that backfield, ready to do some great runs up the middle and on the outsides.
So here comes Gardner once again trying to come
Great
up that middle,
tackle
and they're just sucked up into this Lancer defense. What a tackle from them, as they will bring them down for a loss of yards on that last play. They lost 2 to bring up 3rd, and it looks like 8.
Looks like Ashton Andino was the one who got that initial tackle there. A great play from the Lancer defense, getting very hyped up with that defensive line. And that was Baylor Maxwell trying to break through the middle, but he's immediately stopped.
Yeah, see number 44 at the bottom of your screen. That's linebacker Carter Triple, who you see him again right now. He's been doing it all night. He's lining up on the defensive front. He's great in the rush game. And right here you see Gertzen pass back to pass, and just miscommunication. Mistimed the little button hook right there, and it's going to bring up a big 4th down. Huge stop by the Lancers, forcing a 3-and-out for this Trailblazer offense that really kind of had their way with them over the first half.
And I'm watching this Lancer sideline down here, and they are just pumped up. Every play that has happened on this drive, they're jumping up and down and supporting their team. That's what you want to see if you want to win a game tonight, as this is a close one, 21-21, with 7 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in this 3rd quarter. It's anybody's game here.
Yeah, really props to Dustin Laney and Chip Ufford there in the locker room. I'm sure they gave him a great speech with that defense coming out here and doing a great stop for that first offensive drive.
And here comes Brosh. Brosh with the ball. He's coming up the right side, breaks a tackle, but he'll be stopped there. A hard hit from this Gardner Edgerton defense, and he'll be brought down on about the 49-yard line.
Here the Lancers have a great opportunity to really just kind of cement the way that they've started this second half. After a first half where just everything, even the offense on these successful drives, they just looked a little sluggish coming out of the gate. There wasn't a lot of energy on the bench, and right now you see first the great offensive possession matched with the 3-and-out, and Lancers have a chance to completely get the momentum back in their favor with this drive, starting on the 50-yard line in good field position as Brosh takes the ball up the middle, keeps his legs churning for a gain of, it looks like that almost might be good for a 1st down, but they're going to spot him short. It's a gain of 9 on first down, and when you've got a guy who can take fullback dives and turn them into gains of averaging 6 or 7 yards a carry, it's hard for defenses to stop them. They get worn out. You see right now, I'm expecting they're going to come back out in it, but Gardner Edgerton has been loading the box all night with 2 or 3 linebackers. You see right here, a 5-man front. They're expecting the run, and they just can't do anything about it.
And so here's Shawnee Mission East. They're setting up now, giving it off to Brosh up the middle. He's good for a 1st down there. It looks like a pickup of 4 yards on the play. What a run from Milton Brosh coming up the middle. As Robbie said, keeping his legs churning. He is hard to take down. I mean, it takes at least 2 or 3 guys each time that Brosh gets a hit to really bring him down.
Now once again, Lancers resetting 1st and down, slowly making their way up to the red zone. We're going to see Andy Maddox with Milton Brosh behind him once again. He's going to take the snap, hand off to Brosh, once up the middle. He's going to break a great tackle. He's got major room, 10-yard line, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Lancers.
And
Lancers,
Milton
for the
Brosh.
first time of the night, going to take the lead here. And Milton Brosh just breaking through the middle there. Amazing speed there. Just able to step over that tackle, trying to grab him at the legs. And now Lancers up 27-21, leading for the first time of the night. 6 minutes, 52 seconds left in this third quarter.
See, the thing is, Milton Brosh is good for a gain of about 6 or 7, even when your offensive line isn't doing their jobs. But there on that last play, obviously Milton Brosh, fantastic run. Once he got to that second level, no one can catch him, even at his 225-pound frame. But it's the things that go unnoticed. It was the lead blocks by their offensive linemen, not just getting the initial block, but getting downfield, getting blocks on the linebacker that allow guys like Milton Brosh to really explode. If you can get not just a hole, but second-level blocking, it's impossible to stop teams like the Lancers. And you see right there, making it look easy to bring the score to 28-21. Shawnee Mission East over the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers with 7 minutes to go left in the third quarter.
And you know, I bet you a lot of fans out here tonight are shocked. When I was walking around school, I heard everybody saying, oh, it's going to be a blowout. I mean, think about it. A couple years back, we beat them 40-0. That was in 2014. This will be an easy game to win against these Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers. Obviously not tonight. I mean, the Lancers have just taken their first lead in this game its entirety. 28-21 right now with 6 minutes and 52 seconds left in the third quarter. This is the first time that the Lancers have just started leading in the second half. Hasn't happened this season yet, as Parker Willis is getting set to kick this ball off.
But do not count out Gardner yet. Lancers still only leading by a touchdown, and I'm sure Gardner definitely do not want to be going home tonight. They want to keep going in this playoff run, and they're going to be able to try to answer that Milton Brosh touchdown here with their second offensive drive of the second half.
So Willis kicks is up, and here's Gardner receiving. They're going to come up the middle. Finds a little bit of space, but he'll be brought down at just about their own 35-yard line. That is good, a set return for about 25 yards on the play.
And that was number 28, Keegan Michael, on the kick return. So, Peyton, what do you think Gardner need to do to get these 7 points back on the board?
Well, I think Gardner Edgerton just needs to keep playing their game that they played in the first half. I mean, they're a strong team. We've seen it tonight when they took that early lead, 6-0 at the start of the game.
Ooh.
As that's going to be a huge hit there from number 7 for the Lancers. That's P.J. Spencer, the captain of the team, as he's going to hit him hard to bring him down for a loss of about 4 yards on the play. What a hit from Spencer.
And Peyton, this Lancer defense and this coaching staff did exactly what I knew they would at the halftime. They made the defensive adjustments. They are reading these draws and these end arounds and these outside rushes perfectly. Their linebackers are sitting in the pocket, sitting back a little bit more, waiting on the ball, waiting to dive in. And you see right here, converging again, gang tackle for a gain of about only 1, bringing a third down and about 14. But they're doing a much better job just waiting on the ball a little bit, waiting for the play to develop, and then coming in and shutting down this run, sealing the edge. And this, I mean, we said it all first half. This Trailblazer team can't do anything if they're forced to go up the middle. So Lancers need to keep up this edge sealing that they're having. Great job by linebackers containing the rush game.
And something that I'd say about this second half that we've seen so far, this is Lancer football. They were not playing as strong as they usually do in that first half, and you can see it now in this defensive set as
now
they come in.
Piercer
Nearly a sack
pass.
there. That's a high pass, and it's
Oh.
just thrown over him. So that'll bring up fourth down. Gardner Edgerton most likely will set to punt the ball away with 5 minutes and 29 seconds left. Great defense from Shawnee Mission East on that last play. What a blitz that they showed there.
Tyler Gertzman yet to complete a pass so far. Every single time been overthrown or underthrown like we just saw there. Just a bit out of reach for that Gardner wide receiver.
Yeah, Peyton, that's exactly right. What a blitz and what a complete 360 for this defense. 2 straight 3-and-outs, giving the Lancers a chance to get 3 unanswered scores in a row on this next drive. And you know they're hungry to just kind of put this game away.
As Gardner punts the ball away.
Oh,
Now
it's
it's
gonna be
tipped.
blocked.
That ball is going to be coming, looks like out of bounds. The Lancers will now set it up in Gardner's own territory. And that is just something that East does night in and night out, making big plays. As you see down there, Isaiah Wright jumping up and down with his coach. He's excited after making that block.
Looks like I'm surprised that ball wasn't completely blocked and sent back the other way. The kicker barely got it out of the way of number 29, Joseph Moore there. But it was a tip there from the Lancers, giving them a better position here.
So here's Maddox's unit. He pitches it out to Komaski up the right side of the field, breaks a tackle. He's still running. He's up, and he's brought down. Looks like a gain of about 8 yards on that last run, and he is a player to watch, folks. He doesn't get the ball too often, but when he does, he consistently puts yards up on the board. And you know, guys, one player that we don't talk about very often that usually does not get very many touches is Harrison Gooley. But he's one player that's a fantastic blocker and a tight end for Shawnee Mission East. Robbie, would you like to talk about him for a little bit?
Now Andy Maddox is going to take the snap with Brosh, trying to go up the left-hand side, trying to push for that first down, but it looks like he might have been stopped there.
Yeah, you're right, Peyton. Harrison's a guy who's in this kind of offense. It's sometimes frustrating for receivers and tight ends because they're just not going to get the kind of looks that a lot of other guys do on other teams, like air raid style offenses. But he's a guy who just does his job. He goes, he makes the blocks he needs to make, and he every so often when they need to stretch the field with a pass, he's there for a quick out route or something in the flat. But he does a great job. He's a great possession receiver and does a great job blocking.
Now Andy Maddox once again to Brosh. Looks like he did get the first down this time.
And so Brosh will pick up the first down for the Lancers there. They'll set up on Gardner Edgerton's 30-yard line, and they are in great position now to score, especially with a kicker like Parker Willis, as we saw a couple weeks back when he hit that 57-yard field goal. What a kick from the young kid. He's only a junior, ranked number 16 in his class, in the nation. That kid is going to go places. As Maddox now pitches the ball out back to Muskie, right side of the field. He's coming up, breaks a tackle, and he'll be brought down. A gain of about 6 on that play, and that'll bring up 2nd and 4 now for Shawnee Mission East.
Clock ticking down to about 3 minutes, 45 seconds left in this third quarter. Lancers looking to increase their lead to 2 touchdowns for the end of the third quarter.
And so here come the Shawnee Mission East Lancers as Maddox is getting his boys ready to go. He takes a snap, hands it off to Brosh, up the middle. Brosh, he actually gets stopped, something that you do not see very often, ladies and gentlemen. Milton Brosh getting stopped quick and early. That right there was a fantastic defensive set for the Trailblazers.
Well, and this is the key to stopping this Lancer offense. You know most of the time that they're going to come up with that fullback dive right up the middle to Milton Brosh. Looks like they're actually able to draw. I think that may be encroachment on the Trailblazers right here, forcing that would be a first down then. But like I was saying, the way to stop this Lancer offense is to load the box, get a 5 or 6 man front, bring down your linebackers in the box, and expect this run because even if they're seeing looks that are a full box, Maddox is reading that they're defending the rush. They still like to go at that. They still like to play their game and stick up the middle. So I expect to see Gardner Edgerton stick to that run defense as East has given a first down after the false start by the Trailblazers.
As Maddox snaps the ball, hands it off to Brosh going up the middle once again. He breaks free, though, and that's going to be a Lancer touchdown. Milton Brosh, the senior, that's his 2nd of the night. What a player he is. As Robbie was saying, Gardner was pushing their guys towards the middle, trying to block him out, but he finds just a slight opening in the defense, takes it all the way to the house. Milton Brosh with the touchdown.
Peyton, teams may know how to stop Milton Brosh, but it's a lot easier said than done. Impressive play by him all season, all career long. He's a 4-year starter who's had a huge impact on every side of the ball. Starting punter, starting middle linebacker, starting running back. And he's someone who's going to be a D1 player at Colgate, joining teammate from last year, Trevor Thompson. And we can't stop talking about him. He's in almost every single offensive play. And right there, 3rd touchdown of the night for Brosh, making the score 35-21. Could not have been a more dominant third quarter after what could not have been a worse first half for this Lancer team, which really just shows a lot about the character of these guys, the persistence in them, coming down at half against a team who they should have been 40 points up in the first quarter, and now score 35-21, but right back in the driver's seat, right back to where they're used to being all year long. And kicking off the ball, got to expect this Trailblazer team is going to start taking to the air. They're down a couple scores. They got to start being more aggressive with their play calling, being more aggressive with their decision making. So look for a potential error. Look for the Lancers to start blitzing on this next drive. They want to start putting the nail in the coffin right now, even though there is a lot of football left to play in this game with 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
And here's Parker Willis. He kicks the ball off. That's going to be a deep one back to Gardner Edgerton as they're coming up that.
Keegan Michael.
It looks like he's going to reverse the field, and he'll be brought down on their own 25-yard line. A return of about 15 yards there for Keegan Michael of the Trailblazers. And Robbie, something that you were talking about on that before the kick was the perseverance of these Shawnee Mission East Lancers. I mean, they can be down by 20 points. They can be down by just a touchdown. When they're down, they are not out, and that's what we are seeing this game.
You're exactly right, Peyton. And also, quick development, keep your eye on number 2, Isaiah, right at the top of your screen. Little bit of a late hit on that last play that did not get called, and the refs called him over and had a quick word with him. Captain Zacchio had a quick word with him. Look to him to make sure he's keeping his composure as he find number 2, that's Baylor Maxwell, finds a seam for a gain of what looks to be about 6 or 7 on first down. But like I was saying, Isaiah Wright very, very fired up after his teammate Keelan Bolden was ejected in the first quarter, and he's been playing lockdown defense, almost had an insane pick in the first half, but we'll see if he can keep playing the defense that he's been playing all season long.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly like you were saying, Zacchio goes over and has a little chat with him just to make sure he's not getting those flags and making sure that he doesn't get penalized whatsoever, because with the absence of Keelan Bolton out on the field tonight, they need a consistent and strong player like Isaiah Wright out there on the field to help him out. So here comes Gardner Edgerton.
Gertzman's going to hand it off once again. Looks like that was number 28, Keegan Michael, trying to go up the right-hand side, but he's going to be stopped for a gain of a few yards. Looks like Gardner are going to be opting for a lot more run plays like we've seen throughout the game. Unfortunate for them, as that's very hard to move up the field quickly, which they need to do with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in this third quarter and only one more quarter left after that to try to get back this lead against the Lancers. Due to number 17, Tyler Gertzman, not being able to complete any passes, they're going to have to opt for this run game. We'll see what they can do for him. Gertzman's going to take the snap, hand it off. Looks like that's number 6, Luke Jennings, trying to go up the left-hand side. Like we've seen him all night do very well, but this time Lancers are going to stop him. Looks like a gain of maybe a yard there.
Great tackle by number 15, Tyler Sottle. Getting through that line right away, getting in the backfield. Looks like he was going to have a missed tackle. It took him a couple yards to bring him down, but great job wrapping up, not letting go, and huge tackle for a loss to set up a 3rd and long here. Big play right here. Lancers have a chance to force 4 consecutive scores, unanswered points for this Lancer offense if they can get the ball back in their hands.
And you know, Tyler Stuttle is one of those players that you didn't think he was going to be one of the stars of this team coming into the season, but boy, has he proved you wrong. Ooh. As that's a huge pile up there from the Shawnee Mission East defense to bring back that running back for Gardner Edgerton. Looks like that was number 2, Baylor Maxwell, for the Trailblazers. And like I was saying about Stottle, is he has 2 pick sixes on the year. I mean, I've been talking to him lately, and his heart is in the game of football. He puts everything out on the field for him.
And it looks like the Trailblazers are going for it on 4th down right here with 40 seconds left to go in this quarter. The stands are bumping. It's a huge play, one of the biggest of the game.
Gertzman in shotgun position, step back for the pass, go to the left-hand side, and it's going to be smacked away by Isaiah Wright.
And nearly a pick there.
There is a flag on the play,
but there's a flag thrown on the play.
Refs conversing. Might be pass interference by Isaiah Wright.
It looks like they might be talking to the That's going to be holding on number 2, Isaiah Wright, which I don't agree with that call at all. I thought that was great defense. He did a great job jumping the route, getting his hand on the ball, but calls are going to fall. We got a huge call our way first half. That may not have been the correct call. It's a game of football, but right now we got first down on the 50-yard line. Trailblazers are driving with 30 seconds left to go in this third quarter. Lancers are up 35-21.
Gertzman in shotgun position once again. He's got 3 running backs behind him. He's going to opt for Keegan-Michael down the middle. Gain of about 4 there.
And if you are now watching this broadcast, that score for the soccer game, 4-0, is a Shawnee Mission East Lancer win. That is the final score for tonight, as we have 12 minutes remaining in this game. For the football game, the Lancers are up 35-21.
Going for this last play of the third quarter. They got 2 seconds to snap it. Looks like they barely got it off. Gertzman stepping back, going up to the right-hand side, and almost completed there. A great play. Looks like that was number 6 for the Lancers.
Zach Yo, what a play from him. He's one of the most athletic players out on the field here tonight, as he was just able to stick with that receiver for the Trailblazers, get his hands up above in front of the ball, and block that one back down. What a play from him.
And we'll be right back for this fourth quarter. Make sure to stay tuned. Lancers leading 35-21.
And we are back to bring you tonight's broadcast of varsity football, Shawnee Mission East versus the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers, here for the first round of the Keisha tournament. And this game is anything but gone away, as the score is 35-21 Lancers, as a huge run there from the Trailblazers to start off this fourth quarter. That'll pick up a first down, as they're coming straight out of the gates and coming into it.
And that was Keegan-Michael on the run. Looks like he's limping off field now, calling a coach over. Might be injured. We'll keep you updated on him, as he's been a huge part of this Gardner Edgerton offense so far in this game. Now Tyler Gertzman going to be lining up with 3 running backs behind him. He's going to opt to Luke Jennings on the right-hand side, trying to get to the outside corner, but he's going to be stopped by the Lancers. A great tackle there. There's going to be no gain on the play.
And so it'll be 2nd and 10 now, or 2nd and 11 now for the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers, as they lose a yard on that last play. And it looks like that they might just have as tough of a time this quarter as they did the last quarter. Robbie, what have the Lancers done differently in this half than they did the first to really make this lead their own?
Well, they've done a great job assessing the technical things, like making the defensive adjustments I've been talking about all game long. They've done a great job dropping down someone into a QB spy. They've done a great job having their linebackers sit on the play a little bit longer, as you see right there, wrapped up for a gain of about 2. They've done a great job. Their linebackers have sealed the edge, contain the outside rush, force these guys up the middle, but also they've just come together as a whole on a defense. Early on in the game, with the ejection of Keelan Bolden, we saw some pushing and shoving among Lancer players, which has never been what these guys have done. And as we saw earlier, there's one play in particular on that last drive, that gang tackle of about 7 East guys. They've just done a great job at halftime, regrouping, playing their game, playing aggressive and playing excited. This bench, which seemed to be lifeless first half, has just come alive with energy, up 35-21, and it's continued on every drive, as the pitch to Maxwell on the outside looks like it's going to be good for a first down, but one of the refs is signaling like he may be short, may have stepped out of bounds. Yeah, like I was saying, Peyton, these linebackers especially, it's a linebacking core of seniors like Carter Triple and Cooper Walden, who all year long have done a great job, not just getting in the backfield, but really being an anchor for this defense, getting them in the game. And with a 4th down and 1 right here, the Lancers have a chance to really, really put an exclamation point on the way that they've been playing this first half. It's a huge 4th down right here.
Lancer crowd making the ground shake here as Tyler Gertzman lines up. He's going to hand it off to Maxwell, trying to cut up through the middle. Looks like he did get the first down there.
And that right there just shows how strong that this running core for the Trailblazers really is and how strong that they've shown this game. I mean, being able to get through this Lancer defensive line is really tough to do. Like we've talked about all night, Ashton Andino, the heart and soul of this big dog defense. He is humongous out there on the field, and he is just hard to get by as he weighs in at 5'10", 289 pounds. So here come the
hand it off to
Trailblazers.
Maxwell once again, finding a hole, and it's going to be dived on there from Zach Yo to get the tackle. Looks like Keegan-Michael did get the first down, though.
Peyton, I am shocked that this Gardner Edgerton football team is yet to win a game all season long. This is a team with, like you said, a great run game, a great offensive line. They show flashes of great tackling and speed on defense, but they just haven't been able to get it together, all come together so far this season. And right now we see it. They came out against this Lancer team really tough as number 22, I believe that is Brody Marshall, ahead for a gain of about 2 there to bring up. It's going to be a 2nd down and 5 for the Trailblazers on the 10-yard line, excuse me.
And so now setting up for 2nd and 5, it looks like, for the Trailblazers is Tyler Gertzman and his offense as he takes the snap here. He's going to pitch it off to, looks like Maxwell. Maxwell, he's going to be sucked up in this defensive line and pushed back out for a loss of a few yards there on that last play. What a defensive set that was there.
And there you see again, another gang tackle. That's just great fundamental football. Delaney, I'm sure, just talked to his guys about going back to their roots, going back to what they know how to do. And you also have noticed Gardner Edgerton's been making an adjustment on their own. Their last 3 plays have been in the I formation after the first half, primarily coming in shotguns or pistol sets. And you see right here, under center again, Goodsman sets up with 3 tailbacks in the backfield. And the box is loaded with the Lancers.
It's going to be Keegan-Michael once again, going to be stopped immediately by the Lancers. Lancers doing a great job here in the red zone, stopping this Gardner team from getting a first down.
You got to think right here for Edgerton head coach Marvin Diener. It's 4-down territory right now. You're down 35-21 against one of the best football teams in the state, if not the best. It's a team that has come alive and even at their worst has one of the best red zone defenses in the state of Kansas. And you just got to be thinking, you're here, you have to try and get points when you can get it and try and get on the board and try and get in the end zone.
Gardner is going to take a timeout here. So just like Robbie was saying, their head coach can discuss what they're going to be doing here if they are going to be going for it, which they will most likely have to do with only 8 minutes left. They need to get some points on the scoreboard going into the rest of this 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I know Coach Diener, he's out there and he's talking to his guys. He's saying, guys, we're down by 14 points. We can come back at any time. There's 8 minutes, 13 seconds left on that scoreboard. That is plenty of time for football. Let's get out there on the field and let's score some points here on this 4th down.
We're going to see if Gertzer is going to be opting for a run or a pass here, as we have not seen any completed passes from Gertzer so far in this game, as he is going to be lining up with 3 running backs behind him.
So here come the Trailblazers. They're going to hand it off up the middle. Michael with it, and he's getting stopped. Looks like they may not have gotten the first down on that last one. Referees conferring with each other.
It's a pretty generous spot. That looks like they may be giving. That's going to be a first down for the Trailblazers. Lancer fans are not happy. Lancer bench is not happy. May have been a pretty generous spot, but like I was saying earlier, Peyton, you're going to get calls and you're going to lose them. And right now, Trailblazers have a chance to get back in this game, down 35-21 with a 1st and goal on the Lancer 5. And this is a place where the Lancer defense really needs to step up. They can put, like I was saying earlier, another chance to put an exclamation point on this half if they can stand tall here and withstand another 4 downs.
So here come the Trailblazers now, handing it off to Maxwell. Maxwell up the side, and it looks like he's going to be stopped there. A gain of about 2 yards on that last play. That'll bring up 2nd and goal on the Lancer 3-yard line. And, after that last play, when the Trailblazers picked up a first down, I looked over and I saw Isaiah Wright trying to pump up the crowd. He doesn't care where they are where they're out on the field. He's confident that they can stop him on this Lancer defense, and that confidence is just exactly what this Lancer team is all about. No matter where we are, we're going to beat you.
Gertzer now going to hand it off to Keegan Michael once again. Looks like they're calling for a touchdown.
And he may have been short. Looks like he was just about a yard short on that last play, so that'll bring up 3rd and goal on the Lancer 1. Let's see what this Lancer defensive set can do here to try to stop the red-hot Trailblazers right now.
Looks like they're going to be going for a run once again. Keegan Michael going up the left-hand side this time.
And that time he will be getting into the end zone, I believe. Yes, they call it a touchdown, so that'll make the score now 27-35 Shawnee Mission East. A gain of 6 there after that run from Michael.
And Peyton, this whole second half, we've been just talking like we're up 50 to nothing right now. This second half performance has been so dominant up until that drive that we're forgetting that if this penalty after is good, it is a one-score game. This game is very, very far from over with 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. So if you're the Lancers, you got to be thinking this next drive is a must-score. If you can drive down the field, get the momentum back in the hands of your crowd, go up 2 scores, it gives your defense so much more breathing room, allows you to be a little more aggressive in the play calling, maybe run some blitzes, get some pressure in the quarterback's face. But if you're giving the ball back to this Trailblazer offense that has done a great job tonight against a pretty staunch Lancer defense, it's not something you want to be doing this late in the game. You want to get some insurance on this next drive.
Yeah, and that PAT will be good for the Trailblazers, which makes it 35-28 Lancers. As you said, Robbie, a one-score game. This game is close, and nothing like anybody ever predicted against this Gardner Edgerton team for the Lancers. Everybody at school was saying, we'll blow them out. Let's go watch the soccer game. That's more important, right? Well, it looks like it might be different, as this game is a one-score game, and soccer just won 4-0.
Yeah, and this just seems like a bit of deja vu for this Lancer team, as last year against Gardner, they did only beat them 36-35, which could be just like tonight, with Lancers having 35 points and Gardner right behind them with 28. Now going to be kicking the ball to Milton Brosh alone in the backfield, usually with Keelan Bolton with him back there, but as we said earlier, he's ejected. So we'll see what Milton Brosh can do here.
So number 7, Leon Gaeta will be.
It's going to be an onside kick.
And here comes East. They muff it, but they will recover the ball. And it looks like they will be setting up now on their own 47-yard line, it looks like, is where they put them at. So it's going to be 1st and 10 now for Shawnee Mission East as they come out here. 6 minutes, 34 seconds remaining in this ball game. Let's see what Shawnee Mission East can do. Are they going to cap on this offensive drive and get in the end zone, or are the Trailblazers going to stop them and then make this anybody's game?
That was a pretty questionable call for me for head coach Marvin Diener. You know they still have 6 minutes, 30 seconds. I don't think that onside kick was necessary, as Andy Max is going to toss it out wide. That's Cole Husky trying to go up the right-hand side, but he's going to be slammed down. Looks like it might have been a loss of a yard there.
It's a great solo tackle by number 84, Tucker Tribble, on the play. Gardner Edgerton's done a pretty good job of sealing up the outside run. We were talking about in the first quarter how right after those first couple drives of the Trailblazers having those success on the outside, Lancers came right back and tried to do some of our own with those pitch read options with Anderson Maddox and his running backs. And after a couple successful plays, these Trailblazers safeties have cornerbacks, have done a good job adjusting. And we've seen it since then, Lancers switching back more to their up the middle side of plays. They go right there with Brosh, who keeps his legs churning again for a gain of 11, which, I mean, that is what is so incredible about Milton Brosh. It's plays like that. He should be wrapped up for about a 1-yard gain on that play. It's kind of a broken play, and instead he turns it into a first down pretty easily. So great job by Milton Brosh, is doing what he has been doing game in and game out all season long.
And I applaud you, Brosh. I mean, this guy is an animal out on the field. It doesn't matter where this defense goes. He's unstoppable. I mean, this guy, it seems like whenever he gets the ball, that he's long gone. I mean, it's just fantastic play that he's been doing all night.
Andy Maddox lining up with Brosh once again behind, handing it to him. Going
Here
up
we
the middle.
go.
Brosh breaks 3 tackles, and he's going to be stopped there. Looks like that was about a 20-yard run from Brosh. Just like we were saying, we've been praising Brosh all game, and we are doing it for a reason. Brosh is carrying this Lancer offense in this second half.
And so we see a substitution out on the field now as Garrett Boshin's going to come out. Peyton Wicklund, he's going to come back in at running back. He's been playing a phenomenal game tonight. Like Robbie said earlier in the game, he did not get very many touches last year, but he has capped on every situation where he's gotten the ball this year. What a player he's really become. So Maddox now, he's going to snap it. Hands it off to Brosh, up the middle, finds a seam, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. Will he be able to beat this guy into the end zone? And he rolls in with his momentum, but it looks like he's going to be just a yard short. They're going to call him for a 1st and goal on the Trailblazer 1.
And you see Milton Brosh calling for the hurry up. He wants the ball again. He wants this touchdown right now. He just seems like he never has an off switch. A guy that gets more carries than anyone else in the state of Kansas. Rockhurst game, he had 27 carries, which is unheard of for high school athletes. Sometimes that's even unheard of in the NFL. And I mean, he's the workhorse that just never gets tired. You don't ever take him off the field. And right here, calling for the hurry up. Don't expect anything else other than Brosh right up the middle right here.
Exactly. So Brosh is going to get the ball, tries to dive over the line. He's still up.
And the refs.
But they will call a touchdown for Milton Brosh. Wow. What a play on that last possession. I mean, I saw Carter Triple, a blocker, come back out onto the field, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. Milton Brosh gets the ball and just hops over that defensive line to score for the Lancers, making the score now 41-28, Shawnee Mission East. And Parker Willis now getting ready to set up for this PAT. And just the consistency with this kicker, it is almost automatic for him. So, and they will call it off. Let's see what they call here. Looks like a false start.
And you couldn't see it on your screen, but after that touchdown, Milton Brosh walking up to his student section, giving them some love, telling them to stand up on their feet. He's had the nickname King Brosh since freshman year, and he has really proved it this season. I know you're probably tired of us talking about him, but he's the kind of guy that only comes around every so often, and Colgate is very lucky to have him on their team next year.
And Parker Willis makes that PAT despite the 10-yard pushback due to the false start, and that's going to make it 42-28. Lancers back up with a 2-touchdown lead.
And like you were saying, Robbie, I bet you all of you guys are just tired of us talking about the King, Milton Brosh. But every night there is something to talk about, and there's just more and more to talk about this player. He's phenomenal. He is one of the biggest highlights that this Shawnee Mission East football team has seen in at least the past 4 years in Kyle Ball, who ended up going to K-State to play D1 football. This kid is just a leader. As we see him down on the sideline right now, he's giving high fives to everybody. They are confident with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left that this game is theirs.
The unsung hero behind Brosh, that Brosh will be the first one to tell you this. Justin Finnegan, number 51, the center, he is also going to be potentially a D1 athlete next year. He's already got offers from schools like Pitt State. He is a massive, massive center at 258 pounds who, I mean, if you notice, Brosh gets all of his money right up the middle, right behind Finnegan. And those two, the battery right there, that Maddox, Brosh, and Finnegan just have a kind of bond that they've had playing together for all of their careers at high school. And I mean, he's the guy that's getting down the field, making those second-level tackles, allowing Brosh for the big touchdowns, not just the couple up the middle 4 or 5 yard gains, but he's been instrumental to Brosh's success all year long.
Parker Willis with the long kick, but it's going to be caught and started to return here for Gardner, trying to go up the right-hand side this time, but they're going to be stopped at about the 25.
And excuse us for the temporary inconvenience on our clock cam. We're trying to get that back up as soon as possible.
4 minutes, 15 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Gardner going to be going for this offensive drive. They're going to need to get a touchdown here and quickly if they want to get back into this game.
And you know, Gardner Edgerton is well over capable of getting in the end zone. I just don't know if there's enough time left to get 2 scores in. I mean, with how strong this Lancer defense is and how even more strong their offense is, that it's just going to be hard to score on them, then get a quick stop, and then score on them again. as it looks like that's going to be a gain of 0 on that last play as Gardner Edgerton tried to run that ball up. That was Baylor Maxwell coming up the left side of the field, but a quick stop there from the Lancer defense. 3 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in this game. Lancers up 42-28. They're going to try to air the ball out now, right side of the field. That's Maxwell. Maxwell running up, and a quick tackle there. Easy cap, but that is going to be a gain of about 15 yards in that last play and a first down for the Trailblazers.
First completion of the night for number 17 quarterback Tyler Gitzman, but it's one right when they needed it with only 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. Downs 42-28. They need points, and they need them right now as he drops back again and almost completed that. Looks like it was a drop right there by number 3, Matt Lang, which is not a mistake you can afford to make when you're in this deep of a hole with this little time. And if you're the Lancers, you got to be thinking one more stop could potentially be the last nail in the coffin in this game, a way that they can get out of a scary start against a very, very good 0-8 Gardner Edgerton football team.
Yeah, like we've said all night, this Gardner Edgerton team, it is crazy how they're 0-8 as they're going to run the ball up the left side of the field. And a quick stop there from number 9, Rashawn Burney. He's just turned into a phenomenal player. But like I was saying, is this Gardner Edgerton team is solid, and that's why they're in the playoffs. Even though they're the lowest seed, it is just crazy how good of a team they are for being 0-8.
Now Gertzman's going to be stepping back. There's going to be a flag on the play.
Looks like a false start there.
They may be coming back. And it is against the Trailblazers. Very, very costly mistake when there is no room for error here. Pushing this third down and manageable back to a third down and long with only 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this game. Lancers up 42-28.
And mistake us for that temporary inconvenience. Clock cam is back up and working here as Gertzman has the ball. He's about to throw it to the left side, a quick button hook, and a nice read of the defense there by Isaiah Wright. Being able to see that button hook and just hit number 1, Tavon McKelvey, as quick as possible so that he cannot catch that ball. Great play from him.
That's exactly why Isaiah Wright got that Military All-American Bowl offer and invitation. Great play right there. And as the Gardner Edgerton Trailblazers take a timeout with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left in the game. But like I was saying, Isaiah Wright, he's been a shutout corner all season. If there was one NFL player to have to compare him to, it'd be Marcus Peters. He is very, very aggressive in his play style. He likes to kind of shade off a little bit, not play as close, and then just use his athleticism to jump the route, which is the reason he gets so many interceptions and led the league in interceptions last year, bringing him to a Sunflower Defensive Player of the Year win last year. And I mean, you got to be thinking it might be him again this year. He's played lights out all season long.
I mean, I remember when this kid was a sophomore, Isaiah Wright. He's always just been one of the strongest cornerbacks that this team has had. I mean, when we played Rockhurst last year as a sophomore, this guy had 2 picks. As a sophomore against Shawnee Mission East, biggest rival. That team was hyped up for weeks. Everybody was looking at that game, and it's like he wasn't even fazed by the pressure. He's just a consistent player that nerves just don't get to.
And now Gardner going to be going for it, 4th and 11, and it is going to be dropped. That's no good for Gardner, and the ball is going to be turned over. You have to wonder if that's the end of the game. Some of the Lancers storming the field now, congratulating that defense on that stop. Now with 2 minutes, 58 seconds left, Lancers got some great positioning here at about the 45-yard line.
And Mac, you're exactly right. Lancers are thinking right now. You see the bench waving their cell phones to the opposing student section, to the opposing student section. And the thing is, though, we've seen crazier thing happen. With 3 minutes left in the game, up 42-28, nothing is impossible. But if you're Coach Delaney, you've got one option right now, and that is feed Milton Brosh, run out the clock, and get out of Shawnee Mission North with a win in this first round.
As they're going to pitch that ball out to the right side of the field. Here comes Cole Mahusky, who's going to be dropped there pretty quick, but he's going to gain about 6 yards on that run. Cole Mahusky, he's just a strong, burly kid out there on the field that is just tough to take down. As we said earlier, does not get very many touches, but when he does, those yards, they always get put up on the board.
Lancers letting the clock keep running down as they discuss the next play in the huddle. Andy Maddox looks like most likely going to keep going for these runs, as they do not want to risk another interception tonight.
So here's Maddox, hands it off to Brosh, who just dives up the middle for a first down for the Lancers. Milton Brosh is he's just fun to watch, Robbie. Don't you agree?
Oh, couldn't agree more, Peyton. We can't stop talking about him, but there's very good reason that we are. He is just an electrifying guy that brings a lot of energy to this game. The thing about him is even if it's a 2 or 3 yard gain, you still enjoy watching it because he's making guys miss, he's running through tackles. And right now, could not be more valuable. With 2 minutes left in the game, up 42-28, you know you've got a surefire way to just run down the clock.
Now Andy Maddox lining up with Brosh behind him once again. It's going to be a read option. He's going to toss it out wide to Cole Mahusky on the right-hand side, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds. Looks like that was a gain of about 4.
And Cole Mahusky just getting more and more touches as the season has been going on. And he's more and more of a better player once he does it. He may have just needed a couple of reps. And Dustin Delaney obviously now showing a lot of courage and giving him the ball. So if Mahusky keeps on converting, then it's like, why not give the kid the ball? I mean, he's always coming up with yards.
Nice awareness, staying in bounds. Almost fell out of bounds, but just getting down, clock management, knowing that they just want to run the game out with a 2nd and 3 and about 1:12 left on the clock. As Garrett Bushin runs in motion, they hand the ball off to Milton Brosh up the middle, who runs it forward for looks like it might be good for a first down. And I was just about to say it, Peyton, but one more first down, and this game is over. I think they're going to call it 3rd down, but 56 seconds left on the clock. The Lancer student section is starting to celebrate a victory already, but
Andy
Gardner
Maddox.
Edgerton is going to be calling a timeout with 51 seconds left to go in the game. And Peyton, it was a scary start to this game. We're not used to seeing this Lancer team come out and beat down the entire first half. And how do you think this Lancer team rallied around their guys to pull out this win?
Man, this has just been a fun game to watch. I want to say that before I even start talking. Now, at the very beginning of this game, when Gardner Edgerton went up 6-0, I was just thinking to myself, that's nothing. Let's not even worry about it. We're just going to come back, hit them harder, and we're going to blow them out. And then when Gardner kept on scoring and we just could just not get the edge on them, I was getting a little nervous. I was sitting here and I was just going, all right, guys, let's pick up the pace a little bit. And they never did until the start of that second half. I think Maddox, I think Brosh, I think Isaiah, I think even the fact that Keelan Bolton got ejected and then one of the Gardner Edgerton players started fighting him again while he was walking out of the stadium, got these kids fired up and ready to go. I think that's just what's been the case for tonight, is just getting pumped up. And I also think this is a huge eye-opener for this Lancer team. I think they came into this saying, all right, guys, this will be an easy one, on to the next one, right? And obviously not. They're only winning this game by 2 touchdowns. Now, that might seem like a lot, but not to a Lancer team like this, where they've blown out Gardner, except for last year, by tons of points.
And Lancers now lining up at the halfway point, getting ready to shake some hands with the clock ticking down here. Looks like Andy Maddox might even kneel the ball here to close this game out. It was a great game to watch. Thank you for everyone tuning in.
Well, and Peyton, I was just about to say the same thing. I really don't think there could have been a better game for the Lancers to have at the first round of this playoffs. With a year where really the only semblance of a challenge was the exhibition game against Rockhurst, this Lancer team has been able to have their way with every single team that they have played in. So to come out tonight playing an 0-8 team that they've expected to win, to have to fight from being down, is a great reminder for this team that they are not unstoppable, that they are not immune to a team like Gardner Edgerton, and especially as the playoffs keep going, there's going to be better and better teams. So great team win for the Lancers, rallying behind senior leadership when they really, really needed it, pulling out a win from behind to make the score 42-28, Shawnee Mission East over Gardner Edgerton. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Robbie Veglin with Peyton Watts and Mac Newman, and we hope you join us for the rest of the games in this playoff run.
Yeah, and tune in Tuesday night of next week to watch varsity soccer and their 3rd playoff game, and then next week for this football game, for another Lancer football game. We hope to see you then, and good night, Lancer fans.